Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. And in today's video we are going to create this advanced crouch system inside of Unreal Engine 5. And you may wonder, haven't I already done a crouch video? Yes, I have done a crouch video, but that video is outdated and it has a lot of bugs. For example, when you crouch down you can sprint while crouching, which isn't really that realistic. So that version has a lot of bugs and doesn't have as many features as the advanced crouch system that we will create in this tutorial. So this is what the end product will look like. So if I just crouch, so I click on the C key, you can see that I will crouch down with a sound effect, and the head will also kind of bob down when crouching. And then if I just crouch up, so I will stand up, you can see that there is a sound effect as well. And also if I will, for example, walk and crouch, so if I'm walking I can of course crouch, and you can see that I am now walking slower, and you can also hear that my footsteps are slower as well. So if you have my footstep system inside of your game, you can also make it so that the footsteps will actually play a lot slower when we are crouching, because we are actually walking slower. And if I try to sprint while I am crouching, you can see that I can't sprint. But if I stand up, I can sprint. And if I sprint while crouching, you can see that I will automatically go into the crouch speed without anything bugging. And also, if I will, for example, crouch under here, so let's just crouch down. So as you can see now, I am under this little object right here. So if I just try to stand up, you can see that I can't. And that is because we're actually checking if there is a object above us so that we can actually stand up. But as you can see, there is a object above us, so we can't actually stand up. But if I would just walk out of here, you can now see that there is nothing above us, so we can also stand up. And yeah, that is the tutorial. So yeah, let's start the video. And also, if you are following the horror game series, you want to also create this crouch effect for the series purpose. So if you are following the horror game series, you want to also create this crouching system for the horror game projects. So this will be like a part 3 of the horror game series, but of course everyone can use this crouch system for their game. So what I'm gonna do first is to go into the first person folder, blueprints, and then into the BP first person character. And inside of here, we want to go into the event graph and find a empty spot. And before we start all of the coding, we want to create the variables so we can actually use them inside of the codes later on. So I want to first of all add a variable, so just click on this add button right here. And I want to call this toggle crouching question mark. And then I want to add another one, and this will be called is crouching question mark. And then I want to add another one called can crouch question mark. And then we want to compile and save, and we want to select the toggle crouching variable. And then we want to tick this box right here to true. And we also want to do this for the can crouch variable right here. So tick this can crouch to true as well. Then just compile and save. Then after that you want to add 2 new variables. So the first one will be the camera location. And this will be a vector instead of a boolean. So a vector, and compile and save. And the camera location will be the camera location of our first person camera. So how do we check what the camera location is right now? Well, it is very easy. Just select the first person camera, and as you can see, my location is right here. And as you all can see, the location is set to 0, 0 and 0, and this location right here is set to 0, 0 and 0, so I don't need to change anything in here. But if your location on the camera is different, you want to place those numbers inside of here. So after you've done that, we want to add another variable and want to call this camera offset, and this will be a float. Compile and save. And the camera offset can be around -10 and -30, but I found that the best value is around -30, even -40 if you want to, or -20, but -30 is the best value for me. So let's set the value to -30 and then just compile and save. So now we can actually start with all of the coding. So what I'm going to do first is to create the input for our crouching. So we'll just go into edit, project settings, and then go down into input. Want to add a action mapping, and then want to call this crouch. Then just drop this tab down, and then you can select the key that you want to crouch with. And I want to crouch with the C key, but of course you can use any key that you want, but for me the C key will work. But if you also want to add a controller, you can just add that as well. Then after that we can just close out of here, and then you want to call that input action event that we just created. So just right click, search for the crouch event, action events, crouch, and this is the input action that we just made. So what we want to do first in the code is that we want to check if we are toggling the crouching and if the player is crouching, so we can use that boolean on a branch later on. So how do we check that? Well, first of all, we want to drag out the toggle crouching. I want to get it, and this will go to a not boolean. So we are not crouching in the beginning, because right now we are crouching because this value is true, so we're setting it to not true because right now we aren't crouching in the beginning. And then this will go into a branch, and it will actually go into two branches, so we're going to just duplicate that branch as well, and the condition will be the not boolean right there as well. And the pressed of the input action crouch will go into this branch, and this branch will go into the released, like that. Then, out of the true of this branch, we want to get another branch. So we want to use a lot of branch in the beginning of the code. And the condition will actually be the is crouching. So let's just drag out the is crouching. We want to get it. And out of the is crouching, we want to set it to not boolean as well, so we aren't crouching. And this not boolean will go into the condition of this branch right here. Oh, I'm sorry, this shouldn't be true, this should be false, like that. Then after that we want to drag the true and get another branch. Oh, like that. And the true will go into this branch as well. And then we want to duplicate this branch, and the false will go to this branch right there. And the true of this branch will go into the branch right there. So as you can see, there is a lot of branches right here, and that is just to check if the value are true or not. So the condition of these two branches right here, so the condition of these two branches will be the can crouch. So just drag that out and want to get it. So just drag this into the condition and this one into the condition as well. And now once we've done this code, we can actually set the is crouching to true and false. So if this branch is true, we are crouching. And then just duplicate that. And if this branch is true, we are not crouching. So this is an easy way to check if we are crouching or not crouching, and we will use that variable in later of this video to check if we can crouch or not. Now we want to change the speed. because of course when you're crouching you want to walk slower. So first of all, we want to just drag out this character movement right here, because we want to change some variables inside of the character movement reference. So just drag out of here. I want to set max walk speed. I want to duplicate this, drag you into target as well, and you will go into there and you will go into there. And then I want to promote these two to a variable. So just first of all promote this one to a variable. So just right click on it and promote to variable, and what to call it, and we want to call this crouch speed. And then want to promote this one to a variable as well. So promote a variable, and this will be called walk speed, like that. Compile and save. And now, how do we check our walk speed and crouch speed? First of all, we want to check what our walk speed is, and we can easily do that by just selecting the character movement right here. And as you can see, here is the max walk speed, and as well can see, my max walk speed is set to 120, so the walk speed will be set to 120 as well. And when we are crouching, so the crouch speed, I want the crouch speed to be slower than the actual walk speed, so I want to cut this value in half, so it will be 60. So the crouching speed will be set to 60, so it is the half of our walk speed. And it is here where we add the crouching sound effects. But of course, if you don't have crouch sounds, you don't need to do this step, so you can just skip over this. But we want to add some sounds. So drag out of here and then just play sound 2D, and then just duplicate this like that, and the sound will be your crouching sound effect. And these two are my sound effects. So as you can see, if I just play this, you can hear that it is like clothes moving down, so it actually sounds that you are crouching. So they will fit perfect for the crouching sound effect. So I'll just select one of these and I will just search on them. So crouch sound 1, but of course you can use your own sounds. And also crouch sound 2. And then we want to check the pitch of the camera. So what we'll do is to get the camera manager. So just get camera manager. We'll get player camera manager, and out of the return value we want to set pitch max. So this one right here, and I'll just duplicate this and drag these into there and you into there as well, and the return value will go into the target as well. And the view pitch max will be set to 45, and the view pitch max right here will be set to the standard, so let's say 90, like that. Compile and save. And then we want to create the timeline for the crouch to actually function. So just drag out of this top one right here and we want to add timeline, and this will be called crouching TL for timeline. And you will go into the play, and the reverse will go into this bottom one right there. Then I want to go into it, I want to add a track, I want to add a flow track, and this will be called alpha. And the length is how long you want the crouch to be, so I will set this value to 1 second. So I want it to take 1 second for my character to crouch. And then I want to add a key, so just hold down the left shift key and left click. And as you can see, I added a key. And the time will be set to 0, and the value will be set to 0 as well. Then just add in another key, and the time will be set to 1, so it is at the end of the timeline, and the value will be set to 1 as well. And then we can just click on these two icons right here to view the whole graph. And then we want to just right click on this key right here. Want to click on auto, and that will make the curve a lot more smooth. So just compile and save, and then we can go back to our codes. So then out of the update we want to set the capsule half height, but first of all we need to drag out the capsule component. So just drag that out and want to set capsule half height like that, and the update will go into the set capsule half height. And then out of the half height we want to get a lerp, so it will lerp between these two values, and the B will be the crouched half height. So how do we check what the crouch half height is? Well, first of all we want to drag out the character movement, drag that out, and then we want to get crouch right here, get crouched half height, and U will go to the B, and the alpha will go into the alpha, and the A value will be the standard capsule half height. But if you don't know what that value is, you can just check it right now. So just select the capsule component up here, and as you can see the capsule half height right now is 96, so this A value will be set to 96 for me. Compile and save. Then out of here, then I want to drag out the first person camera to get a reference to it, and I want to set relative location right there. And then if we just go down a bit, we want to add the camera location variable we made earlier. So just drag this camera location out, get camera location, and this will go to the break vector. Oh, not that far down. And now we want to check the offset, so the camera offset variable we made right here. So just drag that out, get camera offset, and this will go into A add like that. We can just change the placement, and the Z will go into add like that. And then out of the add we want to make vector, because we just broke it, so make a vector like that, and this will go into the Z as well, and the Y will go into the Y, and the X will go into the X like that. Then out of the return value we want to get a lerp vector, and the return value will go into the B, so just hold down Alt and left click to delete the line, and the return value will go into the B, and then the A value will go into the camera location variable right there, and the alpha will of course go into the alpha as well, so this one right there like that. And then the return value of this lerp vector will go into the new location of the set relative location. So it should look something like this. Now, once we've done that, we want to change the rotation of the camera when we are crouching. So we want the camera to actually look down and then look up. So first of all, we want to go into the crouching timeline again, and we want to create a new float track. So just add a new float track, add float track, and call this camera rotation alpha like that. And we want to add a key, and the time will be set to 0, and the value will be set to 0. So it is at the start of the timeline. Then we want to add another key. The time will be set to 0.5, so it is at the middle of the length, as you can see, and the value will be set to 1. And then we want to add another key, and the time will be set to 1, so it is at the end of the timeline, and the value will be set to 0 as well. And And as you can see, it will look down and then it will look up. So this value will be the looking down value, and these two will be the original rotation value. So it will look down and then it will look up. And we can also make these lines smoother. So just right click on this key right here and then just select on auto. Then we can do the same with this one right here. So right click, click on auto. And now it is much smoother. After that, we can just compile and save and go into the event graph. We want to go at the end of the codes and want to drag out of the first person camera. We want to set relative rotation, and you will go into there, and then want to split this new rotation. So split struct bin to see all of the different values, and we want to change the pitch because the pitch is up and down. So drag out of the pitch into lerp, so it will switch between these two values right here, and the alpha will go into the crouch rotation, camera rotation alpha right there, and the A will be the standard rotation. And as you can see, the normal rotation is set to 0. But if I look down, you can see that the rotation of the pitch is now -10. So I want my B value to be -10. So when we are looking down, it will go to the -10 mark on the pitch. And also make sure to just tick this value back to its normal value and compile and save like that. But of course you can have this value as much as you want. Now after this we can just compile and save, and now we can actually crouch. So if we just go into our game, you can see that if I click on the C key, you can see that I can actually crouch up and down. So now we have the crouching system all working. But once I stand up inside of a closed space, I can still stand up, and we don't want that. We want the player to actually stand up once there is nothing above us. So how do we make that? Well, we want to go to the event graph again, right here, and we want to add a new function. So just click on this add, and the function will be called check crouch. So it will check if there is something above us. So first of all, we want to get a branch. So just drag out of here and get a branch. And the condition will be the is crouching. So just drag that out like that. And then out of the true, we want to get a sphere. And then out of the true, we want to get a sphere trace by channel. So sphere, oh, I can't type. Sphere trace by channel, and we will be using this method to check if there is a object above us. So first of all, we want to get our camera manager, so just get player camera manager, and the return value will be the get camera location like that, and the return value will go into the start, and the return value out of here again we want to add like that, and then we want to just add our capsule component, so just drag that out, and out of here we want to get the capsule half height, so get capsule half height, and this, and then this will go into make vector, and it will be into the Z like that, and then the return value will go into the add, and the add will go into the end of the sphere trace by channel. So now it knows where to shoot out the sphere trace. It will actually start the free. So now it knows where to start the sphere trace and where to end the sphere trace. And then out of the return value right here, we want to get a branch. Oh, branch. And the true will be the can crouch. So just drag out the can crouch. And then just duplicate that, like so. And this can crouch will be set to true. So if the branch is false, the can crouch is set to true. Like this. So now just compile and save. And then want to go into the event graph. Want to add a event tick. So just find the empty spot. Add a event tick. And as you can see, I already have a event tick. And if you also have one, we can just add a sequence like that. Like so. And then just drag out of here. And we want to call this function that we just made. So check crouch. So it will check every 0.1 seconds if we can crouch. Because we are dragging out of the event tick, which checks every 0.1 seconds. So now if I just compile and save, and just drag out a object right there, can make it unlit, like that. Now if I just try to crouch under this object right here, and then try to stand up, you can see that I can't stand up. But once I am out of that, you can see that I can stand up again. Yeah, that is all working. So now, once we've done that, we still have some bugs. So if I just play, I can show you. So if I crouch, you can see that if I just walk and hold down the left shift key, you can see that I can sprint while I'm crouching, which isn't really that realistic. So it is really easy to fix this. It will just take so fixing this is actually very easy. So what we want to do is to go to the event graph. We want to go to our sprinting code. So this code right here. So this coding right here. So as you can see, this is my sprinting code, and as you can see, it is very easy and simple. So just go to your sprinting code, and then we want to check if we are crouching. So out of the pressed, we want to get a branch, and we want to duplicate this, and the release will go to the branch as well. Oh, like that. And the condition will be the is crouching variable we made earlier. So just drag that out. We want to get it and drag these into the condition. So now it will check. So whenever we press the sprinting key, it will check. So whenever we press the sprinting key, we will check if we are crouching. So if it is true that we are crouching, we don't want the characters to sprint. But if it is false, so we are not crouching, we want the character to sprint. So just drag out of the false and follow on with the code. And this is the same principle right here. So the false will go into there as well. So now if I just compile and save, and if I try to sprint while crouching, you can see that I can't sprint anymore. But if I just stand up, you can see that I can sprint again. So yeah, that is the advanced crouch system tutorial. I hope you liked it, and if you want any help, because this was a very long tutorial and we made a lot of things, so if you want any help, just type them in the comments down below, or just join the Discord server. So the video is now over, but for you guys who are using my footsteps system, we want the footsteps to actually sound slower when we're crouching, and it is really easy to do that. So if you are using the footstep system, you want to do this step, but if you aren't using any footsteps or something like that, you don't need to do this. You are done with the crouching and you can just leave the video right now. So if we just go into the event graph again and go to the crouching code that we just made, we want to go over right here. And right here, we want to change the footstep timeline speed. And as you can see, I changed the play rate of the footsteps timeline in the footstep series. So it's really just the same principle, but for the crouching. So we're going to, so first of all, we want to get a reference to our footsteps timeline. So just search for footsteps TL. So get footsteps TL. And this is the footsteps timeline that we made in the footstep series. And then just drag out of here. We want to set play rate and duplicate that. Then just drag U into there and U into there, and then U into there and U into there as well. And the new play and then U will go to the target as well. And the new play rate, it will be set to 1 right here, because we aren't crouching, as you can see. We have it released right here, so this play rate will be the normal footstep play rate, so 1. And when we are crouching, we want the play rate to be a bit slower. So I want to set the new rate right here to about 0.8. So it will be a bit slower than the walking rate. So yeah, if we just compile and save and try that out and try this out. So if I walk, you can hear that I have these footsteps, and if I just crouch, you can hear that the footsteps are actually playing slower. So yeah, that is very easy to implement, and thank you all for watching the tutorial. I hope you like it. Don't forget to join the Discord, and I will see you in the next video. So yeah, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.